Finally. It's taken 3 weeks. We're getting a chalet. Please don't be a 7-0. I'd be so upset.
Hey, at least you got to see it, though. That's the main thing.
Yeah, that's true.
When it comes to that best of 5 next weekend, I imagine that we'll see so many maps come through that we haven't really seen too much of yet. Again, we'll probably see Chalet just because of how, you know, a lot of the teams maybe at that point, I am expecting it's going to be this more hyper-aggressive team. So we do want to see maybe a bit of spice, and I think Chalet and Border are good contenders for that.
And before you just both curse them out of existence for the best of 5.
I hope not.
Instant dance. As we get underway with Chalet. Again, it's been a while. As preparations are being made. The openings of the walls. Just all the defaults, you can really say. There's a Denari on the board. Scyther's bringing it. Let's see how it's going to be used. Okay, yeah. Loud and clear. In the window. Why not the Frostman? It's just...
10 seconds to go.
Okay, I'm not going to be too bitter about that.
5 seconds remaining.
It's just that I haven't really seen the use of it yet.
Around. And this is it. Like, but again, people are going to keep playing. People are going to keep tweaking and working out what they want to do with it. And I do think that, like, again, a lot of people, when they vault into those windows, they'll do the pre-fire to the floor anyway, expecting, you know, the frost mat to be there. And if there's not a frost mat, if there's Denari gadgetry there instead, it maybe will be a little bit better in these early days of the operator's release, at least anyway. So I'm already opening up that wall nice and swiftly, actually, even over Tubbs. Tubbs is going to deal with it.
Oh, so the canister will slow down. Instantly fired off from, I believe there was a person on the mezzanine. So a little bit of teamwork there, and well, Project Zero just sending some utility, hoping for the best, but of course not finding it. Devils finds the very first kill. Scyther with a jump out as well. But the first one is in favor of the Evoli.
Yeah, no clapback coming out just yet from Project Zero. Again, this can sometimes be the issue with Chalet. You really need to make sure that you're pushing together and holding these crossfires together as you kind of pinch your pressure into the map. Project Zero haven't decided to go for full clearance. They are going a little bit more direct than what you expect. Coupon might end up rotating as the rest of them have really just been digging in a bit more direct to sight. DYA, they're not really being pressured as much as I expected at this point. Kind of just being allowed to stay in these really nice extended positions. It is one of the smaller maps in a map pool, so you can kind of play a little bit more spread out. Still a very safe option. Great read there. Upor dealing with Scyther. It was attempting to get a little bit freaky deaky with it. Timer is ticking though, and again, that's the key factor here for Project Zero. They need to keep their mind on that timer. Flexi dealing with Elder. Beautiful follow-up as well. Devils is gonna fall. 2 versus 4. This is looking great right now. Again, time is of the essence. You need to start pressuring into sight. Grooby's gonna repel. Start to poke holes towards this office. They know someone's lurking around there. It's Marat's. Still very cautious about the fact that this wall is slightly open, and he knows someone's lurking around that balcony, and he deals with him. Flexi's gonna fall. Lions followed somewhat, Hap.
Nitro comes out. Finds a Grooby. Beautiful toss coming in. He landed back into the fight at the exact worst moment he could possibly find. Now the take coming in from Stellarium as the push towards the main bedroom is coming in, but the mirror window is keeping things quite conservative. The Septic will find one, swings around, will find the diffuser. Brings it back to a 1-for-1 and 10 seconds left on the clock. The mirror's playing close. It can just hold with the shotgun. Uber is the one that needs to go for the swing. But Ariel with the ITA 12S comes out on top, manages to clutch it out. The cover wasn't there. They didn't really know where the mirror was before. Was able to just sneak in, shoot out that diffuser, and play back, hold back, and clutch it out.
Yeah, I think the slow start kind of cost him a little bit there. Faffing about a bit too much. As you run out of time, that's where you start making a few more mistakes. Trying to force a plant, and again, as you say, if the cover's not quite there, it's going to end very badly. I mean, some beautiful work from Ariel. absolutely clean up towards the end. And this is exactly what we're talking about. You know, Ariel, yes, he's coming as a sub, but he's been a super sub, and it's not really affected things too much. If anything, he's been an absolute dream for DYA coming into these games.
When he's playing more than the actual main player that is usually in here. In this tournament, that is, not in general.
Changing megs.
So might as well just continue that streak. Keep it going, especially when he's pulling his way. The Murat's there as well. Of course, finding that clutch. Ariel, sorry, finding that clutch, finding his groove.
5 seconds left before insertion.
And getting them the first round on the board. That's important for DYA. Again, attacks have been a struggling factor for them throughout the tournament so far. So every defense they manage to pick up is going to be highly appreciated.
Ironically, you've got two teams that have been struggling on the attack this autumn. Again, for Project Zero, it was very concerning watching their performances in Rumble on those attacks. They did iron out a lot of the issues they were having. But they don't want to fall into that same vibe again where, again, they're just faffing about too much. No one's making those really, really quick shot calls. DYA themselves, again, they've adjusted slightly from that group stage. Group stage, it was very one-dimensional, very tunnel visioned at times. They needed adjustments in the mid-round that weren't happening. They've started trying to work that out a bit more. So you've got two teams that have been struggling a little bit, but shown a lot of improvement. Now it's make it or break it, so pressure's on. Who's actually going to come out on top here?
Slow but steady progression throughout the map. Drones first, scouting out what is seen, what is known. Could be quite dangerous here. Skeptic, yeah, I was going to say, has the grenade launcher in his pocket or in his hand. The Murat's instantly steps in as soon as that shot is fired. Now, the mirror window is scattered, but still in place. But more importantly, Skeptic is off the board. No need to worry about him anymore. The entry once more for DYA. This is something they have struggled with in the past. Now they need to maintain the advantage that they have here against Project Zero. And at 13 left, flashbangs being tossed in, phone calls as well, but it's all taking down Uper, brings it back to a 5v3. Grenades coming in as well as Gruby is sending everything he can into the building. We'll find one kill for his efforts. Ariel, the big clutch from last round, removed off the board. The next Logi Bomb is coming in as well. Gruby looking to go for potentially a jump in as Flexi down below is receiving small bits and bounds of pressure as well. Somehow we're back into a 3-on-3. As skirmishes all over the map continue onwards and don't cease to exist as a double swing comes in from the top. The AFNAT will blind him, but that's a little bit too late because Gruby just managed to take down Devils on that staircase. And now Murat's playing underneath the hatch. Scyther inside of stock. It is the three attackers trying to close this out with 20 seconds. It's not a lot of time. And if Gruby jumps in here and is unable to actually win his fight or get the plant down with a double swing from Murat, it is the Evoli that still hold on to the round.
100%. Even with these advantages that Project Zero keep creating for themselves, again, it is just the massive time factor that seems to be losing them the round here. I love the fact that DYA were really upping the ante there as well. Murat's from the get-go getting super aggro. As soon as he heard the Ash charge, he was like, yeah, okay, I'll come contest you. I mean, absolute cleanup at the end there.
Attackers need to locate
Again, it's Project Zero not giving themselves enough time to work around neutral to make the job a lot easier for them when it comes to these final collapses, these final moments. DYA playing with their food almost. Again, dodging, diving, ducking, weaving. Doing a tango because they're not being pressured enough in those final moments.
Reload.
All right. Project Zero, I mean, their main issue here is losing the entry twice because they managed to have such an amazing impact on the map afterwards. They bring back that number count into their own favor, but they're kind of just left without time afterwards. because of that, they cannot set themselves up properly. They cannot afford to hunt more than they've already done. So
Yeah, exactly.
they need to either get the entry or be a little bit quicker in their motions to buy themselves a little bit of extra breathing room.
Mag!
I think time is of the essence, really. That's the overarching theme here. And again, you've got 5 players that can easily shot call, and if they just give themselves that little bit more wiggle room in terms of the timer, we'll see those adjustments coming through. We'll see a clear plan in those final moments. Devil's on the spec IO. Having a little goosey gander, working out where those drones may be. Giving him a slight inkling as to where pressure may be coming from. But again, with Chalet, you just expect pressure from all sides. The safest option. This map is very, very small. Again, you're allowed to kind of spread out a little bit more, which is what DYA are exactly doing. Just wait for that initial point of congestion and start adjusting yourself thusly. There we go, quick. Dealing with Skyfer. Opener under the belts. Bowser deals with Groovy. That's the Ashgon. Could be useful when it comes to contesting against those mirror windows. Devil's making it look so easy. Deals with Quick. Cleanup starting to come through. Alda, another one. My, Yupo and Flexing are left in a 2v4. Fair bit of time to work with, but DYA have so much presence, so much pressure. This is going to be very difficult. Even the shots from below the Verti is there. They know exactly where Yupo is. That call out will be there, and they can come whizzing towards him. Not that it's needed. C4 to the feet. Damn straight we're going to see that timeout requested. Oh. 3 rounds lost on the attack in a row.
Might have not been clear enough when I said that they needed to get the entry. Make sure they also don't let it get traded right away. I mean, DYA have been playing this amazingly well. And there's no two ways to go about this. Because even when they were in that second round, basically a man down, they stood fast in the middle of sight. They knew exactly where the push needed to come from. And they managed to actually get the secures. They managed to find the double swing on the hatch in the door. And then also the diffuser being sent through the actual window. Okay. Followed up by a tech. A techie P. Potentially. Question mark. I think we're waiting for the band first. But if DYA have tech issues, then... Oh no. They haven't reached their final form yet.
Potentially, again, I just think they're being given so much breathing space compared to what we usually see when it comes to Chalet. You know, you have these defenders in these very isolated positions. So normally the way you approach it is that, you know, 2 or 3 of you are kind of applying pressure in a kind of very cross-dimensional way. And you quickly make your way through the map due to that. Again, it's not the biggest map in the map pool. It's absolutely tiny compared to a lot of the other maps we have. And so it's easier to get that clearance on the attack. It's just, again, Project Zero, a few issues there. Timing a bit janky. Readjustments aren't quite there as well. We'd be very eager to see if they are able to convert this timeout as well. That really will speak volumes to how potentially the rest of the series will go. Because right now it feels like they're not as locked in as we expected.
Attackers need to locate and defuse.
DYA showing beautiful things, and again, even playing with Aerial, it does not matter. Aerial's been absolutely phenomenal. As that step in, that sub.
Reloading!
Snuffling up a majority of those kills.
Loading mag!
And I expect that to continue as well. Maybe there is the element as well, the just lack of pressure, really, going into this, although Project Zero, yes, they're in that kind of high table for the T2 final. Diavolo, they know they're not going to be the T2 final, but it's about showing what you can do. It's about showing what you're made of.
Can do, will do.
Also, the prize money as well, Hap. There's a large jump between
Yeah.
the 6th and 5th place and the 4th place, so...
Is it 250?
750, I believe.
No way, it's good. Is it going up from 750 to 1500?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the losers of today's games will go away with 750, and then the winners get 1,500 euros.
Claymore deployed.
Still nice. A little bit of pocket change.
Exactly.
As Divoli, of course, in those first 3 rounds looked incredible.
Time to make a new
Really strong. Project Zero been unable to really put a dent into their hold so far. If you look at their kills, they are currently 8 up in 3 rounds. It's actually not too bad. But it would have been enough to just win a single round if you put them all together. Where's the Avoli?
activating drone.
Of course, taking it nice and slow. They know when they need to come towards them. With the first minute 15 passing.
Say, a really big fucking hole coming right.
Oh no, what's your language?
What's your profanity?
But yeah, 3-0, and time just keeps ticking, and while flashbangs are coming in towards Ariel, it's just going to keep him at bay. There's no real other utility they can use to try and dislocate him. Except for the fact that they're inside, and they're just flooding it, finding 3 kills already, and the plant going down. They realized what was going on, they realized they were all a bit too far off. And after the tactical pause, it is now a 1v4 post-plant. And Groovy will get the final saying in that matter. Project Zero will put their first round on the board. A great comeback after losing those first 3.
Yeah, that is also a conversion coming through just as we want it. Timeout converted. Lovely stuff. And again, what a way to do it. Just realizing, okay, we're faffing about way too much. Let's just go for the jugular now. We up the ante. They went very direct there in the end. They were like, you know what? We just repel solar, get stuck in. You start to see those bodies drop, and it's almost, again, I think we were just as surprised as Ariel when he went down suddenly.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Great work from Project Zero. Nice little readjustment.
Yeah, I mean, like, the flashbangs were coming through, and they realized there was an opportunity to go through a Solarium, and they just completely grabbed it and annihilated the defense. So well done to them, spotting the opportunity and just going for it. I can only applaud that.
New feed up and running. Camera in position. Loading new mag.
Attackers are heading out to defuse a bomb.
Devil's looking for a cheeky spawn peek as well. Here for it again, from the get-go, from round number 1, Diavolo have been so hyper-aggressive on these defenses. Really feels like a different energy kind of going into them. It was lovely to see. Once again, bringing a lot of equipment to kind of get that early info. The Spec IO along with those black eyes. Project Zero finally bringing out those crunch drones as well. Again, I love a bit of Bravo on Chalet. I think, again, the house cams are way more impactful just due to the size of the map. Get those house cams very, very quickly. The El Clasico. Oh, and a crossfire to boot. Lovely, safe little opener there. The classic of that firebolt going into that corner of the library. An oldie but a goldie, but it does dislodge that player, and then just having that crossfire established from the fluke balcony. No trade coming out from Diavolo either, so that's a lovely little free opener, Hap.
Definitely is good use utility out there. Just a single incendiary bolt. Once again, they find themselves an opening this time. No instant trade. Smoke bolts and flashbangs are all coming through as the top floors that they want to take control of, and Zold falls. Project Zero, after that timeout, definitely are playing in a different manner. 20. The F-Nets will slow things down. Devil's trying to strike back up top, but it is being watched, but not exactly. As Quick is making some moves, he's also afraid of what could be coming up from the blue side of things. The shots are missed from the side of Devils, and Quick will punish him for it. Ariel, swinging up the staircase, will find one. He's trying to retake that top floor, and Nitroself from Scyther took down one as well. Once again, they find themselves in a 2-on-2 position around the bar, in a very possible clutch. But Flexi will find one, brings it back to just Ariel. The super sub. There's no two ways about it, but Flexi is too strong. And Project Zero, they get their second round on the board as well.
Bringing us back up now. An idea for Project Zero, you want that 3-3 split, seeing as the first three rounds weren't going great. This has been a great second half of this attack, though. They're finally realizing, okay, we are being silly here. We're not playing the map how we're supposed to. We've got to have these crossfires going. Pinch together, find those bodies. Flexi's been phenomenal today.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
Absolutely sending it, to be fair, for the side of Project Zero.
Reload.
Being assertive, being confident. Yeah, playing things a little bit more default now as well, which is really good. Just going for these kind of more classic approaches and being like, well, we know, like, we don't have to deep sit too much. We can just use the utility. We can just use these crossfires. Let's just play Chalet how it's meant to be played. You can see that the penny has dropped a little bit. Project Zero, maybe they finally woken up for the day.
They have woken up. I mean, better now than after the first map is completed. And I mean, we said it before, if this map will go to Project Zero, it feels like the entire series will. But that's mostly just based on the third map. But the way that the Evoli have played these first 3 rounds, that was incredible. And that last round as well. Of course, they lost it, but they brought back a 5-on-2 towards a 2v2 situation. That was quite winnable.
Loading new magazine.
And they just need to keep that up. That's just what they need to start and keep doing now. So a quick check from the Twitch drone is confirming that there is nothing out there. No Denaris, no other piece of utility. We'll continue the hunt. As utility is being tossed in. Place is being checked. There's actually someone around in the garage, and Devils will find himself caught. The drone probably alerting the attack of the fact that there is a Roma down in that garage that was looking to make something happen. Is a Solace gone as well? As Ariel, whilst fully concussed, will find himself with a kill now deep into Solar. It's going to make things quite awkward here as Ald takes down Flexi. Once again, a man count advantage here for the side of the Evoli. And Skeptic knows one is down below. A double impact should have been enough, but Ariel, as he moves, gets picked up by Skeptic. He actually had the opportunity to stay there with that 1 HP. Of course, he didn't know no one was right underneath him. With a minute 20 left. Marat's sneaking back up. The diffuser now in his pocket. Only 2 attackers left to be found before a round win is the Evolis once more.
Reloading.
A bit of time though, Project Zero, if they can isolate these players. And they're in decent enough positions where they can try and go for these pinches, get this clearance together. Ruby trying to get cheeky on this office. Sure. Oh, quick going down. That doesn't make it ideal. They know exactly where this remaining player is, and that's where the pressure can come through a little bit firmer from Diavole. Ruby is aware of that. He's going to try and rotate a little bit here, maybe. He'll go for the bait at least. You'll notice nobody's peeking him. They're being safety first with side Diavolo. They know they don't want to faff about. They don't want to have a mistake. They want that 4-2 split happen.
Ooh. I mean, there's not that much time left. It's a wonderful kill, but The clock is hitting 10 and the diffuser is still down on the ground. He's gonna have to go for a run with it, the pistol in hand as he comes around the corner. Doesn't know about someone right next to him. Murat stands up, finds that kill. Giavoli will lock off the half with a 4-2 split. Very decent from them. First 3 rounds, absolutely beautiful. 5th round could have been won if they maybe had a little bit more luck on their side, but the 6th, they really took into their own control again. And of course, wonderfully read from Project Zero that there was a roamer out here, but Ariel, with the basically confidence he has, deciding to go for that swing in a double window whilst fully concussed and still getting the kill, really changes things up.
Yeah. I mean, Ariel, again, we keep hyping him up as being the super sub because he simply has been. No idea why he's simply just a sub at this point.
Maybe he isn't anymore.
Yeah, maybe it's the thing. Like, maybe that's the point where Diavole are like, okay, fair enough. Maybe we want a cheeky little roster change going down. You've really been standing out for us. Side switch coming through. Loads of shields being banned out. The Blitz and the Monty off the bat. Project Zero not wanting to deal with it. And then the Clash ban coming out from Diavole as well. Gives people less options to hide around, especially with the Azami going down. So you've lost all that Azami pressure you can create on meds, but you've lost the Clash as well that can give you that little extra, bang for your buck. Yes, you've still got the mirror. And yes, Project Zero may still have to contest against the Blackbeard, which Skyfer has indeed picked onto. Wouldn't be too surprised if the final attacking ban from Project Zero eventually ends up being a Blackbeard, but we'll see what happens. Game and library, so of course we're going to see those repicks come through onto the Flores, those Rotora drones, the Capital Firebots as well. Oh, it's about dislodging people from these power positions. Corner of that library, the shield on library stairs as well. Again, taking a Rotora and just dealing with that shield as quick as possible really gives you a load of free pressure, essentially, on the attack. Diavole, respecting the flow of the map, respecting the fact that they have to bring a lot of goodies out right now. And again, it's default on both sides, but you'd be surprised sometimes about how things can actually go.
Swapping mags.
It's based on how one team tends to be more safe than the other. And again, Diavole already getting into position to go for lovely little pinches together.
Deploying drone. High detective.
The bees are sending first together with the drones. Nothing really being found as of yet. The first minute about to strike. Horses are playing around that bar. You can already start thinking about what the plan is going to be. The hatch been reinforced as well. That's not something you often see. There's no heart-breaching potential on the side of Diavole. So with that, the hatch will stay closed. So there's no real point of actually getting library fully under control, as Flexi is getting himself kind of stuck in a hard place. The fire will follow up and will take him out. Second fire will be sent as well towards the connector. Now they have the opportunity to start taking library under control. But as I said, as Quick will find a return kill. There's no real reason to be in here, considering the fact that there is no opportunity for verticality. Grenade to get rid of the shield. Flashbangs to follow up right afterwards, as well as the default chems are being removed. Upor striking over the top, sees a gun and pre-fires just to make his position known. Hoping to be chased. Hoping to be a time waste for the side of Diavole. That minute 10 left on the clock, there's definitely opportunity to do so, to be so. Because they need to make a move at some point, and as I said, that hatch is not going to go anywhere, so they just have to do a good old-fashioned window hop and hope for the best. But well, the first one meets a nitro cell to the face. The question is there anything left? No, there's not another nitro. And Alt still has the diffuser, but the issue is he's all alone. And as Mudroom gets opened up, he's debating which window to use. He's just gonna try and find and see if someone's going to be willing to give him a challenge. A 1v1 of sorts. For now, that's not happening yet. As Alt swings in, he will find one kill. He needs to find 3 more. And the time keeps ticking and keeps ticking lower and lower. With these 20 seconds left, at some point, the swings will stop as well. Ruby closes it off. I mean, they were ready for it as well. A shotgun close to the window. Like, there was no way he was going to survive that if he would manage to get in.
No, and even then again, if you jump to Mudroom, you still got that castle barricade on the door, so it's like, oh, okay. They knew exactly where he had to funnel in from. Putting Zero nipping at the heels now of DYA, being able to pull this back in their favour a little bit on that first round of the defence. Lovely jubbly. Potentially seeing a defend-decided chalet come through here.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
Realistically, again, I think a really nice thing that we've seen so far throughout the entirety of the playoffs is that we've not really seen anything too spicy or new from anyone. You know, Geeky, I think, are the ones that have the most creative util setups, and a big part of that is just having those, you know, veteran players like Hungry, who will just be cooking absolute wizardry with what kind of setups they want to have. Everyone else going a bit more default, but again, it's about knowing, okay, if they're bringing X, Y, Z, we know how to deal with it. And we're going to deal with it sensibly, and we're going to follow that plan to the T. DYA, loads of goodies coming out. Skeleton key in the hands of Skyfer, just to work that Verti in the fireplace area. Again, interesting because sometimes people prefer to use the buggy, especially there. Get way more clearance. Without having to worry about your life ending too much. But again, Skyfer taking a skeleton key, it does give you flexibility. You can actually use it from the top floor.
Loading new mag.
And get some really nice
Sensor on. Searching
little
for electronics.
peaks. Especially on the staircase. His Project Zero starts to get a little bit cheeky with it. Speaking of, ooh, cheeky with it, I was like, ooh, Flexi, are you about to do a run out? No, he's behaving himself. Patience is a virtue, as the saying goes. I think DYA themselves, they're tentative here because they think, okay, I can hear rustling just around the corner. Oh, beautiful. The timing, Upor gets his one. Groovy, unfortunately, falling to the hands of Skyfer. Again, that skeleton key is going to give him so many options here. Opening up walls, opening up floors. Skyfer can just go for a little bit of the old interior design and find those bodies, find those heads.
Reloading!
And now, with that minute 35, a bunch of tags going down on either side. Everybody has fired that gun at least once. The time keeps ticking and still needing to descend all the way towards that basement. And that is the crucial part. Preparation needs to be done for that. Devils will find one. That's a good thing for DYA here. The Zuper is holding close. Sees a grenade drop. The drone will spot him out. Will force him to at least relocate slightly so he doesn't get pre-fire. So Burrell will keep the breach closed on both sides. And with a minute left, again, DYA, they need to make a move soon. Because they're all just stacked up, and that nitro, if that would have been tossed out, could have been a double kill. The Septic holding on for now is again holding that breach. Nitro comes out, that's a kill. Marat's off the board. Moves it back to a 3-on-3. Breach now will be opened up though. No more Zoto canisters to slow things down. And that means there is an opening into Y. Now there's two openings into Y. Zuper's still playing around blue. He sees the shots ring by his head, but not responding, staying calm. As the tags keep on coming, Ariel will find the kill and digs himself in deep. He's gonna try and get himself into a position to go for the plant right now. The nitrous cell comes out, but that's not gonna blow because Ariel was too quick on the actual swing. Uber will find one, and Ariel, the super sub, how many times do we have to say it? Steps out, confirms the kill, confirms the round for the side of DYA.
He's just nuts. Get that man in the roster right now. Get that man in the full lineup.
I'm just going to say something else. Virtus Pro didn't do too well in the stage this year. If they are looking for substitutes or new kind of players, which is the first team you think they'll be looking at to try and get players from?
Valid. Really good
Defenders
point.
protect
Yeah,
your bombs
100%.
Defused by attackers.
Imagine just being a sub for the final tier 2 tournament of the year, and then that is enough to get yourself a tryout for a tier 1 team. Just because how well he did. That's how quick it can go. Like, of course, the goal is when you're playing with friends in your team, like, you want to reach EML together, but for some, opportunities will rise where they get to try out for already an existing tier 1 team.
When their language lock.
Even, like, especially then, right? Because, like, when you have the English-speaking teams, they have so many talents to choose from. Like, the French ones that speak English, Germans, the Dutch, like, the Italians, the Spanish, like... But if you're a team that's always functioning like either just Russian or just French, you'll be looking for someone that speaks that language as well.
100%. Like, again, for a really long time, it was like a really main defining feature of a lot of the French leagues was the fact, okay, everyone needs to do their best just in case, you know, old BDS and you know, what was Wolves are kind of looking at that. Ariel's been absolutely phenomenal. I can't get over it.
I'm reloading.
Quick on the Scopos. Again, this utility does allow you to be a little bit cheekier. Oh my days, there we go. Gets his one. Devils has dealt with U4 though. It's a Spec IO removed from the hands of Project Zero, but Groovy dealing with Ariel with a C4. It does put the player count in Project Zero's favor, but again, DYA, they've got loads of kit to work with still. One of those clutch drones in pocket. Smokes, bees. The Sens as well. Some placement already established around this trophy area as Maratz is desperately scrapping his way there, trying to apply that pressure. Yes, isolated somewhat, but it's the idea of, okay, if I can poke those holes here. Especially with Quick getting a kill like that. Flexi, the follow-up there. Oh, no, 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 no. It's falling apart right now for DYA. Project Zero, surely they hold on to this. Flexi will go down.
Oh!
Another pick there onto Groovy. Skyfer might be able to clutch this out. Getting loads of time to work with. Still has those bees. Just has to isolate these players. Sometimes you're back against a wall. That's all you have to do. And if Project Zero don't mind their manners, if they're not being patient and they're swinging their bodies towards Skyfer, desperate to get that final pick, that's when magic happens. That's when you can have the slower motions and be like, okay, I just have to isolate these 1v1s. It's just gunfights.
Long rotation ahead. Ings as well, aware of one of these players. The question is, are these players aware of them? Definitely are now, considering he just opened up the wall with the bailiff. The Banshee slows him down, but no swing coming out yet. There's respect being paid. The mirror window is going to be the big problem making here. Almost at the pre-fire onto Quick. He just duck out underneath the pre-fire from Scyther. And thus they'll bring it closer. What'd you say?
All time from Quick there.
A techie B. Okay. I think we have to introduce a rule that actually have to write a techie P.
Right, tech a P or you're not allowed to tech pause.
Exactly. I mean, 5-4. Things are quite close.
Mm.
The Evoli still in a really good position to take this home. But Project Zero definitely showing a little bit of that aggression on the defense now that they're not really able to deal with consistently here. Of course, if the Evoli managed to get that next round, they find themselves on 6. Would be a nice start. It's not the end of the game, but at least a lot of pressure removed, considering the fact that you cannot lose it in regulation. Project Zero just holding on. I mean, they love this map themselves. They are now on the defense. 1-2, lost 1. Not the end of the world.
I mean, realistically, the pressure's more on Project Zero right now because they have their map pick. And again, yes, we can argue that they'll be starting on the defense on Nighthaven, so maybe it's going to be, you know, pretty smooth sailing for them. Again, I do think they play a relatively decent Nighthaven Labs, but not to the extent that DYA do. DYA have played it 20 times and won it 16. An 80% win rate is pretty good going. It is their most preferred map, their highest preferred map, and again, it's an interesting part of the tournament where people start digging deeper into their map pool and being like, yeah, okay, actually, we do need to throw everything down now. You've got to try and get it to those lower bracket semis. I have no doubt either that every single team kind of left in the tournament is eyes on the prize about the grand final itself. I don't think anyone's kind of giving up the ghost, so to speak, and being like, oh no, that's not going to happen. We're not going to win anyway. Like, I think everyone is actually fully locked in at this point, which is really, really good. But this is where, again, those tiny, tiny little mistakes at times, they really, really matter and really, really cost you a lot more. Because you can't be making those kind of mistakes, especially when it comes to that T2 final, especially when it comes to CS. Remember, it's about the end game, the long game here between all of these teams. It's not just about how South Beach will go and South Beach will end. It's about the bigger picture of things. So many of these rosters have that long-term goal of being like, yeah, we do want to somehow get ourselves into the EML spot. It's going to be up for grabs next year. And the teams that were in the EML that have been regulated as well, like that's such a threat factor. And as I touched on yesterday, they're going to be looking at everything now. They're going to be looking at South. They're going to be looking at the T2 final, eyeing up the competition, being like, okay, what can you do? We've proven ourselves already. What are you going to do? How are you going to have that extra little edge to defeat a team like us?
Hopes, vibes, dreams. Maybe a baguette.
I think only you have the baguette.
I actually don't have a baguette left anymore. I had my last one yesterday.
Did you actually eat the rest of the baguette?
Yeah, I did.
I was
Throughout the games, got some like herb butter and made a little treat out of it. You know, made them into tiny breads and then finished it off between maps.
I love tiny bread.
A man needs to eat. And yesterday it was baguette. Everybody's back in the server. That's always good to see. Means that we are always just a moment away from getting back into it. To figure out whether DFOLI is going to be able to take this first map home, or if Project Zero is starting to kick back into gear. It's going to push themselves up towards a equal scoreline where they can push for a map point first.
In position!
Doorway trapped. Stay clear of blast zone.
Love that we're seeing so much Solace again. Like, don't know what you're missing until you know you've been missing it, right?
Yeah.
Kind of deal.
No, 100%.
Can't know what I'm hating and then, you know, being upset about it that it keeps coming back, like, you know, non-useful Denari play so
10
seconds
seconds remaining.
I think we're starting into an old bitter man at
5
this
seconds left before insertion.
Joe is quick, what you have? Playing around on the Solace. Quickly checking if there's any drones. Nothing's checking him out. Gives him that confidence as well. And I think that's always the dangerous part whenever Solace is played by a confident player. It just amplifies it. Because just a quick specchio and it's like, okay, well there's no drone on me. No one knows of my existence in this room. And your swings will just be so much more confident when you're trying to get the upper hand. Isolde sacrifices one drone. through the sewer laser gate. Just so they can start opening up and start putting pressure towards that library. They now have one. Incendiary bolts should be coming out soon, but as soon as they get fired off, they're already falling back, and it was red as well, so Ald didn't even have to put that down. Maritz finds quick. Solace off the board. Might have been a bit too much confidence there. With that first minute passed, basically the library can be taken in control now by the side of Diavoli.
Ooh, Flexi and Mez. No pressure coming there just yet. Devils is in basement though and could potentially come up that library stairs. If not even try and pressure from below in fireplace. If he gets the right info, spray and pray through the floorboards could certainly do a decent amount of pressure. The Diavoli, as I just touched on, library being free for the pickings mostly, bar Flexi kind of lurking around that corner. They've got the Blackbeard, so they could just jump in. Flexi deals with Skyfer though. Blackbeard jump in denied. Now this is going to go down as well. My, the cleanup starting to occur. Devils with a backstab. Has dealt with Viewport, but yes, you might be able to clear up this site, but ooh, but Capcan! The EDD!
Not a point in case for using Capcan rather than Denari. Thank you very much. Like a personal hate train. Groovy is still around in Bardo. In a 1v2. As, I mean, Devil's cleared out well. He did everything he needed to do as Groovy spots out a player walking through the hallway, has to rotate over towards Stock quickly. This gives him actually a very strong position. Now, back in the day when this was played a lot more, Maratz will find the kill. Which means that Diavoli is going up to 6. And putting themselves at the map point. And Project Zero, well, they've already had their techie T after 3 rounds. Managed to start clapping back, but things are starting to slip away. Mainly thanks to Devils here in this round. What I was going to say about Stock, Grace, is that back in the day, when Stock was also played, it was right after the Chalet rework. You actually had a Maverick player sneaking in through the garage. Almost every round.
Yes.
And go up that staircase to put a small little hole in there and kill the person that was in there. That's not really being done anymore, but what we do keep seeing is that Stock keeps being a power position. And by putting up a little bit of heart breach there, you are removing that power position from play because it's phantom pressure. Even if you're not doing anything there, the fact is, someone was on that staircase, someone opened up that wall, so I have to be afraid of it. And I don't know why teams stopped doing it. And it doesn't have to be Maverick, right? Like, it can be Hibana, it can be Ace.
No, that's precisely it. Like, people have just kind of stepped away from doing that. I think it's because they want to just go through a more rudimentary checklist. But again, you want as many options as possible. Regardless, having a backstab like that certainly was a massive benefit and ultimately won Diavoli the round. You know, popping up from below, clearing the site immediately. Probably a bit of faffing from the defense. Not taking that fight back as aggressively as they perhaps could have and just allowing the aggression to come out from Diavoli, the cleanup. Despite Flexi's best efforts to clear things on the top floor. Not too much you can do about that in those moments. Match point for Diavoli and loads of kit to get the job done. Air jab's already going out. Skyfer, of course, back on that Blackbeard. Capital fire bolts. A cheeky little gander. Do I actually have to use them just yet? There's a potential. Sending them to Mez, maybe. Ruby deals with Maratz. Nomad taken off the board. There are air jabs out and about, but that is a body lost for the side of Diavoli, and that's a trade not coming through either, so that's a free opener for Project Zero.
A lot of noise being heard as drones roll around. Aware of Groovy's positioning around the blue stairs behind the reinforced shield. The Dawn 6 from the ult already used, but on the actual shield. The Sider's trying to push. The Nitro's gonna blow him up somehow through the cabinet, but Ariel and Devils both will find a kill. Make that 2 as Uper drops as well. Still the opportunity to pick up. Scyther will be picked up, but default cam's still up. They could see that. They're aware probably of what's happening, and look at their HPs. Devils, Aerial, Scyther all low on HP, Quick as well. And Skeptic, the one that's still healthy and about, is probably gonna have to do some lifting here for the side of Project Zero. As he is taking slight amount of shots as well, rotating into stock. Smokes pop. A gun was shown. Quick wants to find a kill, but he fires first, but he doesn't hit first. And Skeptic now, in a 1v3, he's going to try and retake the top. He's going up the blue stairs, hoping to strike from behind. 30 seconds could be huge. They have dropped right on through. He is patient. He will find a shield, but now they know he's up above. And this gives him the opportunity to start playing around to try and see if they can get the plant on the board as Aerial. He's attempting it. The hatch drop is not going to come through. Or maybe it will. Skeptic comes in, gets shut down. Diavoli! They take map number 1. They take Chalet with a pretty convincing fashion and a 7-4.
Gorgeous scenes coming out from the Russian stack. And again, Aerial being that super sub, ending things on the double digits. Really has been phenomenal. The side of Diavoli and a massive, massive impact